Yes, we're good. We're live. Well, welcome to a very unique show. Very great show as always. We are talking Space Jam: A New Legacy, which is a big deal. Out of all the movies this year, this is one of the ones I was most excited for very specific reasons, which are obvious, but we'll get into, because this one is getting a lot of hate, and I do not know why. Also today will be a somewhat serious show. This is something I rarely do. I told you in the beginning that I would rarely talk about myself. This is not about me, this is about the films. This is about the art that we all covet. And seeing the greatest of which, and to show them to you as if they are what they say they are in terms of consensus. Beans is about me specifically. It is about my representation. This is a movie about a native girl. I'm not a girl, obviously. But, Aboriginal, Amérindien, and Québécois, which is French. I live in Canada. I live in Quebec, which is a French province. We take great pride in our French language. The country of France look down on us as we are not as French as them, and we do have more slangy words, and we're very good in Frenglish, which is French English, of course. And they look down on us in the same way I'm sure a lot of English-speaking people look down on the American South. You know what I mean? They have their own dialect. It's beautiful. And yes, it is misconstrued in their intelligence, but that has nothing to do with the actual representation that they have. So I will have to get into it, but I will show you a trailer. And trust me, it's something special, or else I wouldn't bring it up. Anyway, saw it in theaters. And Dancer in the Dark, which is weird. But simply put, this is the saddest musical ever made. There will not be another sad one. It was literally the modus operandi. They came into this project knowing that that's what they were trying to do. And did they achieve it? I will let you all know. But first, let's do Space Jam. I actually wanted to show you some things, but so much of it is spoilery, and the less you know, the better. I say this for every film, but some of them specifically have to be seen without knowing much, and this is one of the best examples. I will show you images, but that's pretty much it, and we'll just go in a slideshow fashion, because I do have lots to say, because the hate is strong. The hate is strong, and I'll be honest, I do not get it, okay? Every time I score something, every time it's the same thing. It's not the number that counts, and it's not what that number represents. It's what the movie represents. The idea of the crux, the origin of a film is what matters. Nobody goes into a movie directing, writing, producing, or even the studio giving the money to make it happen goes out to make a bad film. Nobody. It is counter nature to the art form to make something bad out of principle. You know what I mean? It would be stupid. It would be idiotic, because nobody cares about bad things. Nobody wants to see a bad thing. So why go out of your way to create something as such? And I'm saying this point, which is obvious, right? This is basic shit. But look, everybody making Space Jam 2 not only cared about the first one, but wanted to create something that was worthy of the name and worthy of bringing the Looney Tunes back. That is the goal. That is what Space Jam did originally. When that movie came out originally, yes, it's a basketball, the movie's going to end on a big basketball game between the Looney Tunes and some characters they create. And yes, it's a dumb premise. But the idea behind it is to showcase the Looney Tunes again, decades after their popularity has waned. Very important. And so that's and there's three pillars to a Space Jam film, okay? So you have the celebrity aspect, right? The Michael Jordan and symbiosis with the Looney Tunes. Very important. That's one point. So Michael Jordan with the Looney Tunes, in this case, LeBron James with the Looney Tunes, that factors everything in. That includes their performance. That includes the Looney Tunes representation. That includes everything they are meant to represent, which is loony, which is fun, which is 2D animation, especially in this case. Okay, the second most pillar is the final game. The final game has to be incredible. Like, that's the whole point. If you're going to build up a film of building a team and getting to the point where those two teams will fight, in this case, in a basketball game, that basketball game has to be cool. And knowing that we're dealing with Looney Tunes here, and LeBron James, of course, you expect it to be good, especially 20 years after the first one, in which case special effects have gone leaps and bounds, even though that film looks still incredible because it was a perfect masterwork of 2D animation. This one mixes both 2D and 3D, which is even more respectable. The third pillar, very important, is the reason. Now, I know it's stupid. This is the stupidest of the pillars, but it has to be there just for us to have a suspension of disbelief. For us to believe that, yes, this is stupid. This is stupid going in. You don't go see Space Jam 2 expecting an Oscar picture, Best Picture. It makes no absolute sense. You go in expecting some fun, expecting a good game of basketball, and hopefully having a good reason to be there in the first place. Right? Meaning the original plot. It's kind of funny because when you think of the original, which was surprisingly about Michael Jordan going back to basketball after giving that up and going to play baseball. So the entire conceit of the film, which again is dumb and is still dumb, is about Michael Jordan accepting that he loves basketball, like, still. Anyway, it was ridiculous, right? In hindsight, it's stupid. In hindsight, that movie is less good than it was back when you were a child and you were seeing it in the first time. This one is much different, and they actually nailed it. They must have had hundreds of scripts. They must have asked dozens of writers to have their own take on how this world would work, why it would exist in the first place, because this has been working for like 10 years. It feels like 10 years ago they announced Space Jam 2, and it was with LeBron James even back in the day. Simply put, it's this or nothing. They will not make a Looney Tunes film. That is not conceivable or possible nowadays because it would technically not make enough money. But you make it a sequel. You make it with LeBron James, the biggest basketball player right now. And, no, that's pretty much it. And you add the technology, right? You add the hype, you add the special effects, you add the trailers, etc., etc. Hopefully, it gets to be as good. I don't know why it's loading here. It's the first time it breaks down on me. It's frustrating. Okay, so those three pillars, let me tell you right now, they killed it. Okay, they killed it so hard. I was in a packed to the brim theater, and again, I have heavy nostalgia for the first one, and I know what I'm getting into. I see dramas. The other two films I'm talking about are dramas, are movies that would be worthy of being nominated for Best Picture. But I knew full well what I'm getting into. In the same way, you know what you're getting into when you go see Fast and Furious, or even a Marvel film. You don't go see a Marvel film thinking it's going to be art, which is why the hate for this film is hurting the product. It's hurting the discourse. And seriously, it's hurting the legacy of this film because the entire point is to make the Looney Tunes relevant again. Yes, it's a celebration of LeBron James. And yes, it's a dumb concept to begin with. But if the idea is to bring back characters we used to love and make you care for a story that comes from nothing, which in this case is a father and son story about chasing your dreams and accepting who your child is supposed to be, you know, accepting them as who they are. Sorry. By the way, that's a hard message that I will always love because that's the message from How to Train Your Dragon, and it's one that in life is so, so important. You have no idea how many elders, how many people, adults put you down. They put you down. There's no reasons. Literally every adult in my life has put me down, okay? Like straight up. So to have a movie that goes out of its way to show you why not only is that bad, but how good the other path is, and it nails it. And that's the main plot. That's the LeBron James plot. The Looney Tune plots, which I cannot spoil, and please do not watch the trailer, is beautiful in its simplicity, and I cannot spoil it. But the point is, at the beginning there's only Bugs Bunny, and then the others come in for a very specific reason, and I love that aspect, and it's a beautiful reveal. LeBron James is a cartoon for half an hour of this film. 2D animated cartoon, and they go from world to world. Again, cannot spoil this. They go from Warner Brothers IP to IP. Some of them are extremely surprising. Some of them, all of them are mostly surprising. If not, they nailed it. Like the mix of Looney Tune characters with something that you know and love from your youth or from nostalgia, or that's just great. Okay, the only one I'll spoil. Damn it, I can't spoil any of them. Okay, I'll spoil the most obvious because, the Matrix is in here. Okay, it's a small thing. It's like literally 2 minutes. But it's just to show you. They put Looney Tunes in the Matrix, right? So how do you make that concept work? How do you make it fun? And how do you make a great bit out of it? And they do that over and over again in this amazing montage of like 20 minutes of like going from film to film to film. And it's anyway. This room was packed. There was 3 guys in the room that was like me, that would laugh out loud, like extremely. I do not laugh out loud on purpose. I have literally mastered the art of silent laughter. I lived with my grandmother for 10 years, it feels, okay? And to make sure I never woke her, never anything, I literally had to master silent laughing. The only way I can laugh out loud is if a joke is extremely good. Like, literally cannot hold myself back. And it happened multiple times, and it happened multiple times to other grown men in that room that could not go unheard. Me and them in a room full of kids. Man, like, and it's crazy. Like, you could hear a pin drop in that room. It was really respectful. But the one thing you could hear is the loud laughter, which cannot be understated. If you're in a full room of people, you feel everything. If it was bad, it would have been silent the whole time. Yes, some of the jokes don't work, but most of them do. Now, as you can see, the passion bleeds because, again, I just saw it, and I care a lot about this franchise, and I care a lot about what they talk about in this film, and the surprises. The surprises nail it. The jokes are good. There's nothing holding it back. The only thing holding it back are literal tiny details, like some of the jokes not working, and there was another aspect that I did not like that was so slim. They're so slim. It's crazy. And I want to showcase one character specifically, which is pretty crazy, because it's the one that you did not know was in this film. You're like, why? Is Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle plays the villain. A very respectable actor. Damn it, I knew I had him. And he's a guy everybody respects. He's Iron Patriot and Iron Man. Okay, I gotta turn off these lights. Gotta say, okay, it's a hot day and these lights are burning me up. The passion bleeds, baby. Literally. Where is he? I gotta find him. I swear to God. Okay, I can't find him. Don Cheadle plays the villain. He is a human villain who literally plays a machine. He is an AI. He is the Terminator, if you will. And literally all of the exposition, all of the plot is on him to explain to the audience. And it's literally the actor on a green screen for, like, feels like half an hour of this film. It's just him on a green screen having to act to the utmost of its ability, to the point where it's probably literally the hardest role of the year. If you were to ask me, like, which is the hardest role to do in the entirety of every film I've seen in 2021, Don Cheadle having to explain why LeBron James gets to enter this machine and interact with the Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers characters. And he has to do that, and he has to literally sell it to the audience. If he sucked, the movie would literally break down and would not be believable, even though, you know, of course it's not believable, but you get what I'm saying. It's Don Cheadle. It's funny because there's some controversy. He got nominated for an Emmy for outstanding performance in Falcon and the Winter Soldier for a, like, 1 minute scene, literally 1 minute, and he got nominated. And people are like, what? He doesn't deserve it. Don Cheadle himself said he did not deserve that award because they only gave it to him for past work. This is like a gimme. This is what they call it. They're like, okay, look, we didn't nominate you in the past. We're sorry. Here's a chance. Boom. You know, even though you only did 1 minute. It's ridiculous and it's wrong. You know what isn't wrong? Giving him an award for this film. Because without him, it doesn't work. Without him being the villain, being somebody not only do you hate, but makes you understand how this all works, it is a thing of beauty. And in terms of acting professionalism, I have never seen somebody give it their all and do it in such a way that makes everything work. It's crazy. He literally overcompensates for everything else that is wrong with the writing and the the conceit of it, right? Okay, so the reason I put it over as such, and I cannot spoil anything, it's crazy, I'm going out of my way not to, is one, because of the hate that it gets. As you can see right there, it has a 3.7, which I feel a lot of people did for stupid controversies like Lola Bunny, of which they're wrong, and the fact that it exists. They put the pig rapping scene online. That pig rapping scene is horrible. It's horrible in the film, but the joke is that it's bad. That's the joke. The joke is that he sucks at rapping. Is what if you were to do quote unquote cool rapping sequence in like the 90s? The joke is not perfect, even in the film, but the fact that they put it online really hurt the product. It is literally the worst joke in the entire thing, and that's the one thing that it's known for right now, and it hurts. Other than that, okay, you guys have no idea how much I want to score it a 10, okay? I know it's not a 10. I know there's jokes that don't land. I know it's kind of rough in places, and as a plot, it's stupid. Yes, it's like money grabbing, but not really. There's enough love and passion here. Okay, here's my last point here. Imagine being an animator. You're an animator, okay? You are literally paid to make somebody else's vision come to life through the beautiful art of animation. Space Jam would be the #1 job I could dream to get. I would rather work on Space Jam 2 than a Pixar film. Why? Space Jam is Looney Tunes. Space Jam is an exploration of everything that is 2D animation. It is literally a love letter to that art form. There is literally a point in this film that is like 2D versus 3D. And the characters, as you can see in the trailer, are mostly 2D in the film, and then they turn 3D, and they literally show you that transformation as if it was Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball or any anime in which there is a transformation. I cannot imagine how hard that scene is to literally transition a character in 2D in real time into 3D. But as an animator, that would be my dream. There is no job harder, there is no job more deserving of respect, and there's nothing that has more relevance to 2D animation in the history of the medium, other than Disney films, than the Looney Tunes, okay? And that passion bleeds. You feel it off the screen. You feel the work that they put in. And they know. If I know this and I'm not an animator, imagine the animators working on this that get to live out their dream and get to explore 2D animation in a way that hasn't been done in the last 20 years. That cannot be understated, okay? It takes everything I have not to give this a 10. It is a hard 9, but it is, of course, closer than a 10 than a 9. And I will see it again, and we'll see if it gets that extra bump. Because by God, I love Space Jam: A New Legacy. I love it with every fiber of my being. Of course, I am the generation that is supposed to love it. All the references I did get. And it was undeniable to me, okay? And I mean it with everything, because, like, anyway, moving on. I have to move on. I can literally talk for hours. And, by the way, I can't, because I gotta leave in 10 minutes to go see Pig, which, by the way, is the newest Nicolas Cage. I will talk about it next time, so I just want to say that. I gotta go see Pig. Okay, Nicolas Cage and Pig is calling me out there, and I gotta go. Okay, I gotta talk about Beans. Beans is my representation. You know what? I won't talk about Beans. I'll talk about Beans after, because I gotta be dramatic about it. Dancer in the Dark, saddest musical of all time. I'm seeing musical after musical in this coming month. You will see. This is made by Gus Van Sant, which is known by doing harsh films. He is mostly known for crushing Willem Dafoe's balls with a rock in Antichrist. I have not seen Antichrist, but I've heard of that scene, and there's nothing more terrifying than that. But point is, if you want sad, okay? I'm talking top 10 sad films of all time. This is it. Okay, this is it. To me, it's a top 5. We're talking Requiem for a Dream here. If you do not want to take drugs in your life, watch Requiem for a Dream. It will destroy you, and trust me, you will never take hard drugs your entire life. But this work, dear Lord, this film. Now, there's nothing like it, because it's not like it's going to make you stop doing something. It is the same as Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal is about a drummer losing his hearing. Again, 10 out of 10, best film of 2020. Dancer in the Dark is in the title, okay? In the same way Sound of Metal is in the title, that's all I'll say. The footage you see before you, it is filmed in handheld. It's known as such. So it's very dirty, it's very real, it's very raw. And musical, it is a musical. So out of nowhere, there's like 5 songs where they do blast out into music, and it's all beautiful, and it's all nice and cheery. Because it is a perfect balance to the harsh darkness within the actual story itself. Okay, this follows Björk, which does a performance of a lifetime. If we're talking female best performance ever in the history of cinema, Björk is easy top 20. This gets hard because there's so many I have not seen that I cannot talk more on it. But if it were up to me, it would be top 10. Easy. You know how hard that is? There's hundreds of female performances every year. There's only 5 that get nominated every Oscar season. And even then, it's easy to debate. Like, there's 4 losers or 1 clear winner. If not, it gets like a triple threat where like 3 of them, you're like, I don't know which one could win, right? It's obvious. This one is as obvious to me as it is for them. Thing is, it is, again, like I told you, top 10 sad films of all time. Can I go into it? Let's just say it just keeps getting worse and worse. And it seems like a simple, anyway, it just gets worse and worse. Okay, saddest musical of all time. I cannot recommend it on principle alone, because it will destroy you. It will destroy you from within. You have no idea. And but as it is masterful. It's a masterful film. The only reason I don't score it a 10, you know what I mean? There's so much ambition. The price of ambition always is that some of it won't be nailed. But trust me on this, yeah. Anyway, so it's weird because I cannot recommend this to nobody, literally. Please don't watch this. But if you're into musicals and you need to see pretty much the opposite of every musical is, as in principle, you know, like uplifting and nice ending and all that. Watch this. But if not, dear Lord, stay away. Dancer in the Dark, incredible film, but incredibly heartbreaking. Beans is about my representation. It's half Quebec. I'm half Quebecois, half Native, which means I'm half Aboriginal, half French-speaking Canadian. Okay, that's what that means. And this movie is about that. It's literally a movie about inspired by true facts outside my city, right outside my city, like half an hour outside my city, where they wanted to expand a golf course, and to do so, they had to take the land away from natives, which led, of course, to a lot of people getting mad, natives being mad, like, you can't take our land. We've been living here forever. And the story is about two things. It's half that. It's half about the struggle of protecting your land and the escalation of violence, of riots, of discourse that comes within that, the racism of the white people, the natives. The natives' hate for white people because of them continuously taking away from us. You know what I mean? And this one, man, it like cranked my heart. I saw this right before Looney Tunes, and a lot of it I relate to. And in terms of native movie people, native people films, this is top three. This and the one I saw earlier this year, which I did cover, Songs My Brother Taught Me, from Chloe Zhao, Oscar winner Chloe Zhao, were the two best native films ever made. In the same way, In the Heights is the best Latino Hispanic film, you know, relatively, because it shows our culture without shying away from the darkness, without shying away from the reality of what it is. We are in reserves. Reserves is a horrible word that we never use. We use the word community. It's a town. That's it. It's just a town. It's that simple. They use the word reserve. That is where the natives live. We use the word community because that is where we live. The reason we use that word is not only to take the word reserve away, but it's because it's true. We're all close-knit communities, big families. We all need to hold each other accountable for everything because that's all we have. We do not have much. It is very hard to get out of a reserve. I improved that as, you know, I lived there for 8 years with my grandmother, and I finally only got out recently, which is when I started doing these things. So I understand the struggle. Also understand racial hate, if you will. And by the way, the second half of this film is a coming-of-age teenager drama. In this case, a woman, which is why it's the other half that I can't connect to, because of course I'm not a girl. And man, one half is obviously better. The struggle is much better. The story of the riots and everything is much better. But you cannot have one without the other, and they do intersect in incredibly beautiful ways. Imagine being at the age of 14 with that strife, with that struggle, and having it like thrown in your face without you, you know, having time to deal with it. It's just there, you know what I mean? It's just like shaking you, you know what I mean? And because of that, it succeeds in such a big way where, man, it's heartbreaking to see that happen to somebody so young and so vulnerable, I guess. So yeah, so for its beautiful representation, for the fact that it actually nails both its reality and the coming of age aspect, there is, the only flaws are small, like the acting, because it's native actors, especially the main girl, it's not perfect, right? These are not actors. They literally found these people to act in their film. So not all of it's perfect, but yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. It would be an 8 out of 10 if I weren't native. I gotta be honest here. If I weren't native in Quebecois, because this is literally my story. This is literally outside my city. This is people I know. This is dialect I understand. And so for that, but still, it's a great film. 8 is a great film and one that is worthy of seeing. So if you want to know more about the native culture or you know, racial drama, or even a coming of age teenage girl perspective in that world, then you know, Beans is up there. It's really good. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so that's Beans. Here we go. A lot of passion today because yeah, that's 3 nines, man. 3 nines. Guaranteed quality. Main event. Got some octopus for you. Got to do this quick because I gotta go. This is Last Week Tonight. When he doesn't do a show, he does a show every week. When he doesn't, he does a YouTube video. This one is all about putting over octopuses and how badass they are. Like the clip on the left is the octopus right here in the water. Just a beautiful octopus, like just straight up, and that's what he says. You know what I mean? It's like
there's an octopus called the Wonderpus photogenicus.
Wonderpus photogenicus. You know what I mean? It's just a sick octopus. And I'm gonna marry this, which, by the way, you should watch this whole thing because it's incredible. Octopuses, Last Week Tonight, trust me. He puts them over, and you will never, ever disrespect the octopus again after watching this. And then I got this short clip that's literally seconds. Here's another octopus. This one has no sound, so. He's like, my jar. This is mine now. Damn it, ad. Okay, so that's it. That's all I got for you. I had more, but I gotta go. Seriously, I gotta go. I gotta go see Pig with Nicolas Cage. I will cover tomorrow. Apparently it's good. You know how rare a good Nicolas Cage film is, especially in the last 20 years? There's literally three in 20 years that are literally good. And I'm not talking great. I'm not taking must see. I'm just talking good. If you watch these films, you might not be disappointed. Okay? Anyway, so this is must see. Okay, Pig has been getting great reviews. It's extremely simple. It's John Wick with a pig. With Nicolas Cage. You know what I mean? So I gotta go. So I'll see you next time. Please, Space Jam, A New Legacy. Do not watch trailers. Do not watch nothing. Go in blind. If you're my age, if you love this stuff, if you like the original Space Jam, you will not be disappointed. Do not listen to the people. Do not watch the pig rapping online, please. And Space Jam, I would put it over, you know what I mean? It's better than Fast 9. It's better than most films coming out this year. Okay, and I'm not kidding about that. I'm extremely serious about that, to the point where, you know, man, if I could force everybody, I would force them to go see In the Heights first, okay? But man, Space Jam's a tight third place. So until next time, Pig, I'll see you soon. And what up, chat? Okay, we're good. It's hot out there. Love you guys. Peace.